beginning of the show, they are FaceTiming each other. We have Chloe. Chloe has been told by Ro that, well, what was actually said, Alaina said that she didn't think that Chloe could pull caliber of man like Josh. So this has been turned into, this is the telephone game, y'all. This has been turned into Josh wouldn't be caught dead with Chloe. That comes from Ro. That is not actually what Alaina said. Now, granted, I'll be fair. What Alaina said was not meant as a compliment to Chloe, but it wasn't quite that harsh. So Chloe is a little offended. Oh, how did we get to attacking me? Because all she did was give her opinion that Josh is not fine. Josh being the husband of Alaina. So Alaina took offense, even though they have little issues going on within their marriage. Well, not little issues, some issues going on within their marriage. They haven't really shared yet, but enough has been alluded to for the audience to kind of just speculate on what's going on. And then we're going to get another little insight, more insight to them during the course of this show. So they discussed whether or not she should address it. Excuse me, I have my notes on my iPad. I don't want to lose them. Okay, whether or not she should address it. She was going to just let it go. And I think it would have been nice if she had let it go, but she was convinced. Rose said, no, don't let it linger. You got to nip it in the bud. So now Chloe's going to address it. And Alaina and Chloe already discussed Josh not being fine at the rodeo, and I felt like Chloe apologized. So I don't know why the second part of that is now part of the conversation, but I guess we'll see what happens with this. Lebrina is hosting a spa day minus Alaina and Chloe because those are the two that maybe had something going on between them. And the spa is beautiful, y'all. Lebrina says they have all these different services. I didn't write everything down, but it's in Cypress, which is right outside of Houston or a suburb of Houston. They have corrective skincare, oxygen treatments. Beautiful. So I do like the fact that she didn't just leave one out. She didn't invite either of the two that were involved in that little conversation for now. But I think they all could have made it. These are classy ladies. They were not going to be arguing or anything like that in her spa. So Muneera looks cute. She's in white. She comes in. Latorria says, oh, you cutesy. Muneera says, no, not cutesy. I'm not 5. So she brought up age first. Keep this in mind. Not cutesy. I'm not 5. And then Latorria seemed like a person that has to get the last word. She says, well, maybe 11. Muneera said, no, I look young, not 11. And she said, okay, 22. And that could have ended it right there. But we'll hear more later. Latorria says, it's a compliment. Muneera said, it's not. So Muneera is young presenting. We already know from the first couple of episodes, she spent 20 years as an electrical engineer, which is a field dominated by men. So obviously, and I mentioned, I think in the first review, there's something going on, whereas maybe people have challenged her appearance or her looking young, and she brings it up later. But I could have told Latorria that wasn't the way to go with her. But I really don't think Latorria meant any harm. But when someone tells you you hurt their feelings or don't keep going, just don't keep going. So now this is going to be a little thing between them we keep hearing about. Lebrina and Latorria compliment. Lebrina and Latorria separate from the other two that are there. And Latorria compliments the spa. My girl got a spa. And it's beautiful. It's really nice. My girl owns a spa. Lebrina is asking Latorria about who's the guy from the rodeo. She lets us know that she had never seen him outside of a suit. He's a journalist. He's covered some of her clients. Lebrina cuts to the chase. She said, well, have y'all been in touch? We find out they've been texting back and forth. Lebrina convinces Latorria to call this man. His name might have been Devin. I can't remember. I don't think his name came up this episode, but that could be what it was. She convinced her to call him. And to me, he didn't seem kind of interested. He seemed a little dry because she was kind of in control of the conversation. I mean, she called him, but I think he would have been in touch if he were interested. So she says, well, you work, you cover a lot of clients, a lot of stores. You need a happy hour. He's like, yeah, he agreed to that. And she says, well, what about next weekend or maybe the weekend? He had something coming up. Then what about the weekend after that? Well, his birthday or something. When he started hemming and hawing, I probably would have let him say, just later for it. Because once they start doing that, he's not interested. But Lebrina asked her how the call went. Now, Lebrina's right there hyping her up. How'd the call go? She said she think it went fine, but they didn't nail down a date. So Again, Lebrina's talking about dusting off the cat and all this kind of stuff. I don't think Latorria should have ever disclosed to any of these women that she has been celibate. She has told them 3 years, and they got all these jokes about cobwebs and dusty cat. Latorria, if you don't like that conversation, you shouldn't have ever brought it up with them. I wonder if I could reach my light real quick, because I had to come in the cabin, as I said, to get quiet in here. 1 minute. Let me see. If I pull this out and it helps, I'll leave it on. If not, no harm, no foul. Let's see. I don't know. We'll leave that there. Okay, so they are, of course, still at the spa. Next, we have Ro is talking to Muneera, but they kind of spread out a little bit during the treatments. And we find out that Ro's going to get, she's made an appointment to go and speak to a therapist. So that's really good. Anytime I see therapy on one of our shows, I love it. So sex comes up again. Ro brings up the 3-year celibacy. Latorria saying she doesn't really discuss sex like that as a woman of God. So that woman of God thing is going to come up again. Latorria, you telling people that. And then when they reference that about you, she get kind of upset. And they were having a grown woman conversation. We find out that Ro started asking stuff about used toys, this and that, and Latorria was uncomfortable with some of that conversation. And then we find out later on that Ro starts to feel a little bit uncomfortable because now she's such a forward person. She doesn't know what she can discuss or not discuss with Latorria. Latorria gonna block her with the woman of God thing or what? So I don't know. I feel like they are a loose circle of friends. They're just gonna have to get to know each other a little better and figure out how to engage with each other. But I do like all 6 of the ladies. I like their friendship. I think they're going somewhere special, as long as they don't let the cameras and production and the show kind of ruin things for them. So we have Chloe invites Latorria over, and she said, well, when are you going to the spa again? Latoria's kind of joking. Don't do that. Because of course, Chloe found out she had been left out, and also Alaina had been left out. Then we get a confessional from Chloe saying, I'm owed a spa day. I've been dying to go to Escape. So I'm with her on that. I wish the other 2 ladies had been invited. But again, I understand why Lebrina did it. But again, Lebrina closed the spa down, so they could have all gotten along. And another thing that just encourages, when you have members of the group left out, some of the ones are going to start talking about the ones that are not there. And if you don't, as Ro was saying, nip that in the bud, that could get worse. So we have Chloe and Ro talking about what went on at the spa day. And, oh, not Ro, I'm sorry, Latorria. Latorria is talking about Ro to Chloe because Latorria is telling Chloe that Ro is saying she felt like she can't be herself with her. And Chloe's like, you, as open as you are, I can't believe that. So they bring up, of course, the 3-year celibacy thing. And to me, that was something intimate that she disclosed to Ro. But I don't know, that's going to be another source of contention, I think, between the ladies. I'm not sure why. So Latorria tells us that she felt like she has had to button her tongue since she was a child because she's larger. She brought up being dark skinned. People might see her as being aggressive when her intent is not to be aggressive. So she has to really, since a young child, kind of tamp down on what her feelings are, or at least how she expresses them, so other people won't be upset. So I can understand why that would have a trigger with her now. If she's going to upset somebody by saying something, and she might just rather be, keep her cards close to the chest. I understand that. And then she jokes, well, maybe I need to remove myself from the friend group. And Chloe's like, no, you ain't going nowhere. So she says she said that she is supposed to be a woman of God. She can't feel like she can't turn up. She doesn't want people to judge her. So I understand where Latorria is at. She feel like she's between a rock and a hard place. But I don't know, Latorria, you can't let people play with you like that. If you don't like, if Ro's doing jokes that you don't like, you might have to come back with something. And Lebrina too, dusty cat and cobwebs and all this kind of stuff. See, you'd be wrong if you start talking about high mileage or some of the other stuff that you could say. Just pull a reverse Uno card. And then if the people keep playing, then both y'all play together. But I don't think you should have to censor yourself, nor should Ro censor herself. So we have Ro and Muneera. They meet at Muneera's house. She offers Ro an apple juice as a joke because that came up also when they were drinking. They had a drink later on in the spa treatments. There was a charcuterie board, And we find out that Muneera doesn't really drink like that. So she said she'll have some juice. And Latorria made a joke and said, well, the apple juice. And then we find out that Muneera got kind of upset about that. Again, I don't think it's anything that is meant to be offensive, but Demure has already told Latorria she's offensive, so she kind of need to stop joking with her like that. So Ro brings up that she's always been big too. This is another thing. She said she's always had a big butt, big body, and that's something that I guess all of this are triggers for these ladies. So this is really interesting. I love how they have these deep conversations. So we have a confession of Muneera, who does bring up the fact that from her 20-year electrician career, which I knew I brought up earlier, that is a trigger. People talking to her as if she's a child and her having to really assert herself. We could see that in some of her home scenes with Norm. I feel like she was kind of drill sergeant toward Norm, but I think she's probably one of those people feel like she have to take control. So they talk about the resting bee face. Bro feels like she has a resting bee face. And Muneera and her, they make faces. I think that's cute. I like all of the different groups of friends, separate and apart. But because they're so new and showing us the friendship, I don't want too many separate meetings where they're going to start talking about each other and then cause a problem. But we have a scene where she's going to therapy. She said she got the referral from Alaina. So this is really good. The therapist is talking to her about what is it that she hopes to gain from therapy. And Ro gets to put her feelings on the table. Says she feels like she put everyone before her. That her and the therapist discussed that. She gives us a scenario with her little mini-me, Sophie. She said that she would come home from work and just be at the end of her rope and sometimes snap at the baby. And she'd be like, okay, I know you need me. Let me just, let you have me while I'm home. And she said that she did come back and apologize to her daughter, which is big. The therapist let her know a lot of people don't apologize. Myself, I don't think I got an apology from my mother for different things till I was an adult. But some people, if they're not raised that way, they don't know how to do that. So the therapist points out that Ro is able to compartmentalize, and that's what she does with work, with her personal life, and that all those different parts of her are going to mesh together. So I thought that was a really good therapy session. I appreciate Ro sharing that with us on screen. I don't know that I would have been able to be brave enough to do that, but I think anytime one of our shows therapy, it is helpful. It lets people know that it's okay. You can go to therapy, talk to an objective person, a third party about your feelings. Anybody could benefit from that. There's no shame in it. I think it's very useful. So that was another really good thing that Heart and Hustle Houston did this week. The one thing that was this might come back later now, where Latorria is brought up because she's brought up and it's referenced that she's a stuck-up single. So that's a little judgy. Just because Latorria doesn't discuss sex like that doesn't mean she's a stuck-up single. Because some of these church people be getting it in. You can believe that. So Ro talks about she is herself and she's open. I do see that. And that some people seem to be wearing a mask. I don't know that she meant Latorria. I don't know. Latorria, some people might say she's wearing a mask because she has her strong boundaries against discussing certain things, namely sex. But I see kind of a mask on Muneera. This is just my opinion. Of course, Alaina. But Alaina is one of those personalities that her mask has fallen down. She's used to being perfect and looking perfect. And she said she was raised to not look like what you've been through. But we see it, Alaina. We see it all over Alaina. I think her mask is coming down. So in this group of 6 ladies, some of them are more forward than others, but there's certainly more than just one wearing a mask. So they have Lebrina and had invited the ladies to come to the ranch. I love when they show this ranch, y'all. It's 5,000-acre ranch. Lebrina and her husband, Willie, have invited someone over to cook crawfish. So they're having crawfish. And he comes, he's cooking everything. Everything's laid out. They're waiting for the people to come. Of course, there's couples, I guess 3 couples. And then we've got the 2 single ladies. We have Chloe, who was dating Jordan. The last people to come in is Chloe and Jordan. They were just sitting around, kind of their feet in the pool. So Chloe comes in, the party's here. Oh, this is looking kind of boring. So that was kind of funny. We get that from Chloe. Chloe's kind of like the party girl. But I mean, they may have just been chilling. You can have a party this way, you're just chilling. So Josh, we get to see Josh. He's big, he's tall, he's Nice looking. He is what Chloe considers fine, which was funny. Lebrina said, we just wanted to see what Chloe considered fine. The husbands are laughing. None of the husbands look like pressed or anything like that, which is why I don't know why Alaina ever got upset. I don't think Josh would be the type of man, just from the little bit I've seen of him. I don't know. I think his ego is enough. He can handle another man being called fine. I'm sure he still think he's fine, whether or not Chloe thinks he's fine. So that was kind of funny. The men were kind of laughing at that when Lebrina Chloe is on the lighter end, and Jordan is a little darker. So when Muneera was saying, "I love a little vanilla chocolate action," and he's big and he's tall. She's trying to call him tall, dark, and handsome. She was kind of gushing a little bit. Everybody else felt like he was nice looking as well, and he was nice looking as well. Chloe thinks he's fine. That is fine. That's Chloe's man. I'm glad she feels like he's fine. So we have Elena's in the confession saying that Chloe did good. They were all kind of gushing in the confessional. It was a little funny. Latorria, out of nowhere, she tells Alaina, "Y'all look like a photo shoot." Alaina's sitting there next to Josh. They get their feet in the water. "You look like a photo shoot. Alaina, you're just glowing. You're so beautiful." This is her transition, y'all. Chloe is a wedding planner. Have y'all ever considered about renewing your vows? Latorria, did production or somebody tell you to do that? That did not fit. That was not appropriate. You know that these people have something going on within their marriage. I don't think they want to discuss about renewal. Okay. So we get a confessional from Lebrina saying, "Oh, this was not appropriate. Oh my goodness." Kind of like read the room. We get another confessional with Rose saying, "Now you saying you a woman of God? I think you got a little bit of the devil in you." I have to agree with Rose on that. It put Alaina on the spot. It embarrassed her and Josh, that Josh is actually saying, of course he would consider that, but he says it would be. Alaina asked Josh, "What milestone would you say?" He's like 20. He don't know the right answer, y'all. I don't know the right answer because this just wasn't the time to ask that sort of question, Latorria. So we find out that a milestone for him would be 20. They've been married 15 years. There's some type issues that they're going through. So later on, they're eating. Chloe's like, "I don't smell the crawfish. Where's it at?" They're like, "You so late, it's ready." So they go over there. They're eating the crawfish. And Alaina get her get back. She's one of them. She said, "Chloe, would you marry Jordan?" Chloe said, "I'll be married again. I would marry again tomorrow if I had the chance." Jordan looked like he swallowed a crawfish whole, y'all, with no chewing and nothing. That man, he didn't, Chloe, that young man, watch that scene. That man didn't want to hear that. He was like, "Oh, he's hemming and hawing." I would look at that scene again. So she's digging again. She said, "Well, I don't know that I could date younger because I'm serious." Chloe's like, "I'm serious too." So they discuss whether or not Jordan looks mature or he is mature. Alaina says she would guess that he's about 25. Chloe says she thought he looked like 33 initially, but he's actually 28. I don't know. He looks his age. He looks like he's in his 20s. The maturity level, I don't know. I haven't heard enough from him to figure it out. I don't know. Chloe says he has this mature vibe. And then Alaina pipes up and says, "Yeah, they had guys like that in high school." I don't know what high school Alaina went to, but I don't recall any Jordans in my high school. I just don't. I don't. So I like these conversations that they all have together. We didn't hear from the other husband. Lebrina ends up pulling Jordan aside. Chloe goes looking for them because Lebrina kind of wants to grill him. I think Lebrina should have had Will with her while they're talking to Jordan about his intentions for Chloe, because they've been dating a few months. Did she say 5 months, 7 months? She told the audience, but I can't remember what. But this man is not thinking about marriage to Chloe right now. He mentioned something about she want more children. I introduced her to my kid. I met her kids. I don't know. I just didn't like the conversation, but he convinced Lebrina. Lebrina said, "Okay, the judge is finished." So he convinced Lebrina. Let me see if I can see comments. Y'all, I'm on my phone, but I cannot really see comments. If not, that is okay. I apologize though. I'll put up where I show them on stage just in case I get any. So that looked like a really fun cookout, crawfish that they had at her ranch. I loved it. I love watching her and Will's ranch and that they shoot. So there is that 17-year age difference. We're going to see what'll happen with that. Ro brings up therapy. She says that her homework was the group. So they start talking again. Latorria says she feel like Ro is opening up more. They start talking about how it came up that Latorria said that she is a woman of God. And Latorria Cloud, she said, "Yeah, she's a woman of God. because Ro was saying something about the Lord in her. And Latorria is really quick to correct when somebody gets something wrong about her. So hopefully she'll accept the same correction, because Muneera pipes up and brings up the youth comment. And she says, okay, you see the way you just corrected her? It's kind of like when you were telling me that I'm looking young. Now, Muneera's kind of dragging this because I don't really care about this. I'll speak for myself, okay? I don't think Latorria meant any harm. I didn't like that she tried to double down on the joke, and Muneera has brought it up to her again. Don't play with her like that, okay? Because if she puts some things out there about you, Latorria, there's jokes that people could make about you, and I think you get upset. I don't want Muneera to do that, but some of these people that get upset about these jokes that people make about them, you can back them up off you. You pull a Uno reverse on them, and you start joking about something that they might not like, and I promise you that those jokes will stop. So Latorria saying she won't joke again. She won't joke at all. Then Ro's like, I don't want you to shut down. I don't want you to shut down. So they decided to do a shot. This is Ro and Latorria are going to do a shot. Now, Ro always got to push. She pours her a little shot, and then that was enough for Latorria. She's like, no, if we're going to do it, let's do it. She tried to pour more. So again, Latorria, if you don't want to drink more than that, don't drink more than that. But don't feel forced or that you have to do what someone else wants you to do. Y'all should be close enough or getting close enough where you can express your feelings, she can express hers without all these hurt feelings or talking about each other later. That's something that I don't know that I'm going to like. If that's where this is going, I hope not. Latorria tells Ro, I think that Muneera saw a target and she went for it. I don't know. I don't know that Muneera was trying to pile onto her. I think she might have used that opportunity to clear up what she felt like was going on between Latorria and herself, Muneera. So I don't know that she saw her as a target. I don't know. So that was pretty much the end of that episode. Not too much happened. I do love that we got to see the spa. The spa is gorgeous. As they have said, Lebrina said, the standard is the standard. So that's excellent. So I love that. The beautiful 5,000-acre ranch again with this gorgeous wedding cake couple, Lebrina and Will. I love that. We got to meet the fabulous Jordan. The jury's out on that, but if Chloe likes it, I love it. And the rest of the husbands, we didn't hear too much from Norm. We didn't hear too much from Josh. Will doesn't ever say a lot, but I do like that they're showcasing their men. We have the fun single girls, which will be Latorria and Ro. Chloe's dating, but I'll consider her one of the fun single girls as well. So this is a great mix, this 6. And I bring up the 6 as a great mix because the preview, y'all, we're going to see Shaniqua that Latorria did not know. And she's going to come on strong with Ro. Shaniqua, what are you over here messing with this lady for, using the B word? I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know the nature of the conversation, but she is printing out something because we see our sweet Ro talking about, you printed this out. And then the lady says something about B. Latorria, I hope you didn't bring this lady over here for this. We're getting to know the 6. We don't know this other woman. Everyone to a person we've talked to about the scene, they think it was silly. It did not fit. I don't want her coming over here stirring the mix. Y'all got enough between the 6 of you. We're all getting to know you. And Shaniqua better not come over here and start no mess, okay? Also in the preview, Jordan mentioned something to Chloe about you can't keep supporting him. Pump your brakes. Pump your brakes, Jordan, okay? Their relationship is fraught with enough drama that the mother and son, Nico and Chloe, we don't need to hear anything from Jordan based on that, whether she's supporting him or not. We don't need to hear that. So that this preview, y'all, was like, ooh, what's going to happen? But the preview is good. I like when the preview draws you in and you can't wait to see what's going to happen. So this was episode 3. This was an okay episode. I give it about a 7, only because it was like, man, it was kind of mid, but it was okay. But please don't start bringing random people in to kind of stir the pot between these ladies. There's 6 of them, y'all. There's 6 of them. They're so different. They're at different stages in their life. They are building their sisterhood, their strong relationship. We don't need Shaniqua or whoever that lady is coming in trying to start something. I don't like that at all. So that's Heart and Hustle Houston, y'all. And thank you, Team Replay. Thank you for joining Sandra P's Gen Extra. Sandra P is free to move about the cabin. That's my travel series. It's a sea day. So again, everybody's on board. So I'm not really filming in public. If I get to show you some more spots on the ship, I will. If not, I will save that for next time. But you can talk to me down in the comments. I always respond. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their Sunday. Thank you. Bye.